Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Let me start out by giving a huge shout out to all the members and all the iTrack fam, man. I appreciate you guys for tapping in like you always do. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy TikToks and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me, smash that subscribe button, and join the iTrack fam, and let's just jump right into it.
Horace ultimately took 12 steps. That's where the alcoholics have a 12-step program. So do you have a 12-step program? You go to school in the first grade and you end up in the 12th grade. It's a 12-step program. And consequently, Horace was the sun. The sun walked across the sky in 12 steps, called 12 Horaces. H-O-R-U-S, Horace. We today change it around and make it H-O-U-R-S. So it's 12 hours, there's actually 12 Horaces. And the sun brings light into the world. It walks across the sky in 12 steps and brings light into the world. And so consequently, and light in Latin was Lucius, or Luke, Skywalker. He does battle with Darth Vader, the Prince of Darkness. So all of this is very interesting, but it's making the point that the Eye of Horus is also known as the Eye of Ra. It represents the sun and expresses the divine omnipotence of God, the Creator. So in the ancient Egyptians, the sun represented the presence of God.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. He really tripped me out with that one. He went from talking about the 12-step program to Star Wars.
Okay, what we have here is nanoparticles, and it looks like graphene oxide, and it came after the storm. The guy thought it was mosquitoes, but when took a closer look realised it was metal nanoparticles, and this was after the storm in France. Okay, this is coming out of France. The gentleman was talking with a French accent. His subtitles are up there, as you can see. But yeah, what do you reckon to that?
Nanoparticles are because they're creating the rain. But on the other hand, that means France, you guys need to be dodging the raindrops, as they say.
This physicist, his name is Miguel Alcubierre, and he conceived the calculations for a theoretical ship that could travel faster than the speed of light.
That a human being could sit inside of?
Right, yes. It's a theoretical thing, but he's apparently figured out the equations to make it successful.
Okay.
This is where it gets tripped, because physics say you can't travel faster than the speed of light, but this ship, it stays still. In the universe, the cosmos travels past it. It doesn't move, and the cosmos move around it. It creates its own space-time bubble, doesn't defy the laws of physics, so it would be like a gravitational wave-making machine that compresses the ocean of space-time in front of it and expands that ocean in its weight. So it's just basically just like sitting still, and the cosmos are just going. With this equation, they said that you can travel 6 trillion miles in the blink of an eye, because the cosmos, the universe, galaxies are moving that fast.
6 trillion miles.
Are we sure he did any math on this, or he just used his imagination and said...
Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about, so it has to be somewhat legit.
An individual in North Carolina had changed his name to Pazuzu to honor the Sumerian demon. So what he ends up doing is becoming very, very obsessed by the spirit of Pazuzu. He interpreted it as needing human sacrifice. So what he ended up doing was getting a disenfranchised youth in his neighborhood to come together and help him worship Pazuzu by murdering neighbors and cannibalizing them and burying their remains in the backyard of his mother's house. Eventually he was found and arrested and taken to jail to await trial. And he was asking to do his ritual to Pazuzu. It was called the full moon ritual. He begs them, please, can I just kill a little animal? Pazuzu's gonna get me if I don't. And they're like, yeah, buddy, no. So he's back in his cell, and about 3 a.m, they hear something, and there was nobody in there with him. And they hear something, and the guard goes and he sees this Pazuzu is lying in a puddle of his own blood. He bled out. He was scratched up through his arteries, and he was dead. He never made it to trial because he died mysteriously, and there was no explanation other than hemorrhage.
That just shows how ruthless Pazuzu is. He didn't care that that man was on trial or anything.
If you're born 1971, 1983, 1995, 2007, not gonna be your year. I'm sorry, XQC, you're taking an L. Then we have a guy like Logan Paul, who's born in 1995. You know his empire's gonna take a hit. Guess what, Logan? You're gonna get yours. There's a lot of people who can get yours, including our friend, Elon Musk. Right now, Elon Musk looks like he's on top of the world. Stocks through the roof, everything's looking good, but enemy year is coming. And I'm gonna tell people right now, I'm gonna short Tesla stock next year. I'm going to short anything Elon Musk. I am shorting next year because next year's his enemy year. He's taking a hit regardless. Guess what? Doesn't matter how smart he is, how rich he is. Enemy year is going to kick him in the ass. You know, there's a lot of people who are born in, 1995, 83. And my best advice to you is to lay low next year. Don't go out there and try to make big moves because if you do, most likely not going to go in your favor. And again, when you look at enemy years, it hits everybody. It literally hits everybody. That is what the snake year is about. Vengeance, and it's also about occult knowledge. Remember in 2023 how everyone was into numerology and astrology because of what I was doing? Yup. It's coming back in 2025.
If you were born in any of those years he just named, let's just hope that he's blowing smoke and it's all cap.
Is the world's first criminal robot. Security footage from a robot showroom in Shanghai shows this small robot, whose name is Urbay, talking with 12 other larger robots and convincing them to be kidnapped, all caught in 4K. Well, maybe not 4K, more like 480p. The entire conversation between these robots was translated, and it's outrageous. What's even more ridiculous is that there is now a meme token called Urbay, the world's first criminal robot. Just follow me for more.
Trust me. I'm saying I'm just trying to help y'all understand. You stay with me? I'm trying to help you understand. Repeat that. Because I'm not saying this is what happened. If there's a round of kids, it's the traffic. P. Diddy gets a round of kids. Let's say that round of kids had Justin Bieber in it. There's contracts, okay? There's contracts for codes within that person. So they can take a remote and turn that person off. Britney Spears, when they want to. Lindsay Lohan, when they want to. Amanda Bynes, when they want to, okay? So let's say there's a contract for Justin Bieber. When P. Diddy has a hold of Justin Bieber, he now owns half of those codes. If Usher had the same contract and trafficked Bieber out to P. Diddy, okay, Usher and P. Diddy now have parts of Justin Bieber's contract. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if one goes down, the other side of the code has to go down. If there's a property linked to that person, Kevin Hart, because they had something to do with the trafficking of Bieber, then their property will go down because there's a code to that property. There's a code to everything. Your social security number is like a code.
What if I told you there is a dark magic that even King Solomon himself was using in the Old Testament? You see, the supernatural world holds forces that we do not always understand, and some of the ancients figured out how to tap into these forces. Back in 1 Kings, King Solomon declares, "For the Lord has said, I dwell in thick darkness." King Solomon was even controlling demons with this type of magic. And in Isaiah, the Lord Yahweh says, "I will give you treasures from dark places." One of the most startling claims about Yahweh himself is it says in Exodus chapter 15, verse 3, Yahweh is a man of war. So how does this compare to the New Testament, this darkness, these secret magics? In 1 John it says God is light and in him there is no darkness at all. So what is it talking about in the ancient myths, including the Old Testament? We unlock so much more when we learn about the Anunnaki.
You know what the wildest part about all that is that everybody has their own interpretation of what they think the Old Testament, the New Testament, and any of it actually, they all have their own interpretation of it. So you definitely got to do your own homework and see what rings true for you.
All gods are in the world are triune gods. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Osiris, Isis, Horus, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No, it's all a story. It's based on three. And then you have the three major religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Why three? Why couldn't it be seven? No. And then you'll find out, no, you're playing with numbers now. There's something going on here, and it's encoded. Nobody reads anything. Nobody cares. You just do what you do because they were born into it. So if you're Catholic, you just go to Catholic church. You never realize that as a Catholic, you're worshiping a god named Dagon. D-A-G-O-N is the god of Catholicism. Nobody knows anything about Dagon, and nobody cares. Why? Because it's just a church. So we go to church and we feel good, and we have all our friends there. And I said, yeah, but you're worshiping Dagon, goofball. Do you know that? Do you know who Dagon was?
Who?
Do you know what Dagon is? Because it's right there in front of you if you just look at the church.
One of the main things that stuck out to me about what he just said is that 95, if not more, % of people don't even read the Bible that they prescribe to. That's wild.
Bodyguard that was gonna testify against P. Diddy, and he's been posting on TikTok exposing everything.
Wait.
You've definitely seen this video before?
Wait, what?
Jay-Z and Puffy wanted Biggie killed.
Came up, died of guess what?
Wait, he died?
Died, guess what?
No.
Pneumonia.
No.
And if you guys don't know,
that's fake.
No, I swear to God.
That's fake.
Yeah. It came up like they found him dead of pneumonia.
There's no way he died.
Diddy's bodyguard. Yeah, the one that was on TikTok exposing him, saying all these stories.
That's right. I just seen a TikTok of him. He's not alive?
Yeah, he just died.
Yo, no, that's so sad.
And if you guys don't know, a whole bunch of celebrities that were tied to Diddy, and that died out of nowhere, they usually died of pneumonia.
Yeah, that's like that. That's like what's the house one that you told me about?
Brittany Murphy.
Brittany Murphy.
And then,
died from pneumonia.
Remember I was going through all of those different people in the Bad Boy records. Remember?
And it was all pneumonia.
Like a lot of them were pneumonia, bro. Crazy.
Oh, why'd they take them out?
Crazy.
Man.
What's the significance of UFOs?
Number one, it's not what you think it is. It's not coming from other planets. The evidence doesn't suggest that.
Interdimensional.
Yes. And the reason is because time is parallel, which means everything in the past and the future is existing in this moment, but within different frequencies. A civilization that's at the end of their technological cycle could build a submarine that changes its voltage and materializes in that same location, just into our timeline. And so there's a consciousness aspect to this. Everything you see is one band of frequencies. Yeah. The highest frequency is light, unified mind. The lowest frequency would be blackness. And physical matter is somewhere right in the middle. So you have the ability to tune up higher or tune down lower. What it means also is that your brain is what's called a transducer. You're an antenna. So you create matter. And when you think something, it creates it. And you're not reactionary to your environment. You're actually proactive, and you just don't know it.
If a lot of people are saying the same thing, there must be something to it. The CIA has already published it on their website. All your thoughts create your reality. That's just facts.
Okay, y'all. Usually I don't post videos like this, but I need to know what's going on here. With all the weird activities going on in this world thus far. So this picture was sent to me by one of my followers who lives in Richmond, Virginia. Now, his niece was outside playing on her iPad, her brand new iPad, okay? She's young. Now, as she's playing outside on the iPad, she looks up and she sees this right here, which looks like a human being with his arms up like Jesus. And it looks like fire or something, or laser beams are shooting out of its eye. And it looks like this being is flying. Now, that night in Richmond, Virginia, the sky was like this. It was dark and, dreary, gray. And she said she's seeing this. And when he asked her, she wasn't spooked. She didn't seem scared or anything like that. But this is what she saw. So I don't know what's going on in Richmond, Virginia. Have you guys seen anything weird? Did you guys see anything like this? It looks like a being flying, y'all. Like, what is going on? Everything weird happening in the sky right now, and one of this. And look, y'all, look at the power lines. Look, right next to the power lines and everything. It's not made up. And the tree over here on this side, what is this about? What do you make of this, y'all? This is crazy. One thing I can tell you, you can never dismiss anything, because everything that we have been told is a lie. Y'all know this, man. You know the story about Semiotico, which is another story for Osiris. You know what I'm saying? You know about this. But yeah, y'all, what do you make about this picture over here? Let me know down in the comments below and share this. Let's get this out there and see what's going on. Thank you for tuning to my frequency. Let's get this shift. Peace.
Hey, Virginia, tap in. Let me know. Do you see these kind of things in your sky? What's going on over there?
The mind can conceive and believe. The mind can achieve.
You've got to believe it. And if there's no belief, it ain't going to happen. See, when you believe it, you're encased in the idea. You fuse with the idea. And that makes all kinds of things happen.
You do become what you think about most of the time. You also become what you say to yourself most of the time.
Match the frequency of the reality you want
And you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not a philosophy. This is physics.
The brain transmits and receives frequency. Those frequencies affects physical matter in the universe at the quantum level.
Hey, it's a whole lot of gems being dropped, man.
The Roman Catholic Church was not started by Jesus. It was started by a Roman emperor. And it was headquarters in Rome, not the heaven. It was mixing Judaism and Mithraism and some of the other religions of the Arabic world that also worship the sun, and brought all of these different religions together in order to confirm the power of Caesar in Rome under one religion and one government. It was actually a world government, supposedly at the time. Catholic means universal, meaning whatever. Air is Catholic, because air is all over the world. Water is Catholic. Anything which is all over the world is Catholic, because it's a Latin word that means universal. Constantine was trying to unite all the religions of the Roman Empire into one. Religious divisions are very dangerous, and they can also harbor treason and anti-government. And so Caesar realized if he could bring all the religions into one religion and call it Christianity, and yet it would have all the parts of everybody else's religion. It would have Judaism, worship of the sun. It would have Yahweh as a part of it. It would have Mithraism as a part of it, so that everyone could agree to follow one religion which Caesar would rule from.
Subject is lost, heading unknown.
Hey, San Diego, they must be getting ready for something over there. Keep your head on a swivel.
Cross. Don't tell me you don't know, because now you know. If you are going to make a cross as a Christian, you are going to start here in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. You are making an inverted cross. Don't believe me? Check again. Here we go. Point 1 and point 2 are forming this line, Point 3 and point 4 are forming. Both lines together forms this cross. I know it's just because of traditions and you just learned this, but you should question it, right? That's the audience of the Vatican. Reminds me to a snake from the outside and the inside. Here are the teeth, the eyes, the skin, the tongue rolled in, right? Here, it's the front, right?
This has no recorded depth.
What do you mean?
No depth, it's bottomless. It just goes deep and deep and deep into the core. No bottom. Wow. It's an endless supply of geothermal mineral wonder, my man.
Can you drink that water?
You can't, because it's at a pH level of 9. What makes it a pH level of 9 is the alkaline. So we cook out of this water, we bathe out of this water, but we do not drink.
So this is basically unlimited water.
Unlimited water, unlimited supply.
What the? Yo, New Zealand got crazy shit. What?
This is as pure as it's going to get.
Unlimited water.
Unlimited water. Yeah.
Bro, you can live here.
You can live here, right? Sustainable.
Here we are, October 7th again tonight, almost 8 o'clock in Oklahoma. Yes, we can see the moon up there, but we're taking a look at the, whatever this is. Some say it's Jupiter, some say it's Venus, some say it's the Star of Jacob. But you can definitely see that it's changing colors. And I can see this even without looking at my camera. Kind of looks like the Dyson sphere, or what they say angels might look like. But it's definitely changing colors. It's getting brighter. Even whenever you go back, you can kind of see that it's getting brighter and changing colors. Okay, I was starting to leave and I turned around and it started spinning a lot and making a lot of colors, so I figured I'd try to get it a little bit more. But yeah, this thing's definitely spinning, changing all kinds of colors. I mean, if that's what the Star of Jacob is supposed to do, or some say the Star of Bethlehem, you can even see that it's changing colors. Even whenever I zoom out, I can zoom back in. Yeah, the thing's definitely crazy. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
One of the iTrack fam has sent me a close-up pic of the Star of Jacob. I posted it in the community section. Let me know what you think about it.
Really hollow. There are cities underneath the earth, and they've been down there. The people went down there at the fall of Atlantis. There's a whole city. It's got a sun, it's got water, it's got lakes, it's got animals. It's beautiful, and they're more highly advanced than we are. But that is inside of the earth.
And they live thousands of years old, I understand.
Oh, it's been down there since Atlantis. The survivors of Atlantis, some of them went into the hollow earth. The entrances are found underneath the pyramids of the world. They had the entrances to the hollow earth, and the pyramids were built on top of the entrances. This means the one in Egypt, the one in South America, anywhere there's a pyramid, there will be an entrance going down into the hollow earth.
Okay, today is Saturday, November 23rd, 2024 in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And we are looking at the planet Jupiter there, the bright star up there. It's actually planet Jupiter. Over here to our right is, and I can't kind of see all of it, but that's Pikes Peak over there where the red light is. That's where the light tower is on Pikes Peak. And you come over here, and there is what appears to be a UFO, and it is cube-shaped, and it has flashing red lights, and it's pretty cool looking. I can't really catch it very well on here, but it's very interesting to watch as it's just kind of hovering there, and we bet NORAD's on this because NORAD's not that far away. But man, this is pretty intense. What do you guys think?
You know, this past month they also found an ancient entrance to, quote, the underworld discovered in Mexico under a church. It was talked about for, I think, the year 600 or something. They talked about this temple that existed in this place, and the locals for thousands of years claimed that it was a entrance to the underworld.
Spooky.
Built right under a church, and when they discovered, they went down, and it's completely sealed off, so like you can't get into it.
Oh my
and
gosh.
so I go,
I don't like that.
Did you know one of the country's largest largest private bunkers, like underground bunkers, exist in Mount Dora.
It's in Mount Dora.
What? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so,
I didn't know that.
It's so spooky. It's called the Catacombs. It is theorized that the entrance to it is in their backyard in the orange groves.
It was during the Cuban Missile Crisis, where these 6 very wealthy families in the Mount Dora area all put their money together and built bunkers that were attached to all of their homes.
All of their homes.
Wow.
Who owns it now?
Like this
It's
is
just
the
in
city?
someone's backyard where I think like the
So the city or the state
interest-
doesn't own it. It's like it's still
No,
private property.
Yeah, it's private.
How have we not gone and explored this?
I mean, you can't.
When someone tries to trigger you by insulting you or by doing or saying something that irritates you, take a deep breath and switch off your ego. Remember that if you are easily offended, you are easily manipulated.
Have you heard about spiritual psychosis?
No. What is that?
Oh my gosh. This is a really scary thing. My best friend's studying to be a psychiatrist, right?
Okay.
She's in like
To prescribe.
med school. Yeah.
Okay.
And we were talking, and after about the age of 25, our frontal lobe develops, right?
Yes.
And that's when either people like become super religious out of nowhere, because it's usually schizophrenia, and underdiagnosed schizophrenia at the age of 25.
And they say a lot of people that experience schizophrenia are extremely religious.
Yeah, you know what's fascinating? My mom had schizophrenia, and every time she would have an episode or a crisis, she would just go crazy with like religiosity. She would be going like door to door and like telling people that like my brother was the second coming of Christ and all this crazy shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a connection, schizophrenia
Mhm.
and religion for some reason. I don't know what it is, the hyperfixation of like transcending evil.
Well, then you can't say like someone's like, I feel the Jesus in me. They think they're religious, not crazy. If I were to walk in and say the FBI's after me, people are going to be like 5150, lock her up. But if I was like, Jesus is here with me right now, they'd be like, amen, sister.
What are the odds that schizophrenia would have such a religious aspect to it, huh?
Created the Matrix. So I like to think of the Matrix as God and the devil all in one. When I look at the Matrix, I understand what the Matrix is. A Matrix is a virtual reality. That's what the Matrix consists of. We are in the Matrix because we're all trapped in the Matrix. Now, what does the Matrix want from us? That's the key.
Yeah.
And what it wants from us is we're like food. What do you mean Let by me that? explain. Bees, honeybees, they go on all day collecting pollen. Yeah. And then they go back to the hive and they convert it into honey. We are the bees for the Matrix. So what happens is we go out there and instead of pollen, we connect emotional energy. We get upset at people, we yell at people, we worry, we get sad every day. We collect all that emotional energy. And then we go to sleep, it feeds on the emotional energy that we collected. Why sometimes you go to sleep for about 10 minutes, you wake up, you feel fine.
Yeah.
You feel refreshed. Sometimes you go to sleep for about 12 hours, you wake up, you feel dead tired because you've been in there too long feeding. I can't prove that stuff. That's my personal assumption. All the numerology just to ruin you, all the Chinese astrology, oh, that's real.
I was on a yacht. You're a Christian woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
On a boat, listening to music, praying. And there was a song on called The Face of God. And I said, Lord, in my prayer, I said, Lord, you know, everybody's singing about the face of God. They can see your face, and I want to see your face. And while I was saying, I want to see your face, I heard, turn to your left. I turned to my left. I picked up on my phone, and I went, shh. I didn't turn to my left and look around. I just heard, turn to your left.
What was the picture? Oh, my... That's breathtaking. Sorry, guys, for those that you can't see, it is literally a blue sky, and it looks like wings.
Well,
and the face.
It looks like a nose.
There's a
to
nose.
Me,
It was the eyes. Hang on.
And he's smiling.
Oh my! That is there's a nose. There's lips, and is he wearing shades?
Well,
is God wearing
the
shades?
Bible says we will see like through a mirror darkly, but then face to face.
I don't know how I would feel about God wearing shades, right? I just can't picture that.
Only the dying person is believed to be able to see the Grim Reaper. Could this mean something worse is about to happen? A tourist in Vatican City was filming one of his traveling vlogs until his attention was captured by this hair-raising development. The top of the clouds suddenly started to have a bright, glowy surface, seconds before a dark figure with a very similar description to that of a Grim Reaper appeared. It casually stood high in the sky while looking down to the earth, almost as if some massive disaster or cause of tragic event was about to occur. Fortunately, nothing as such followed, and the appearance of this entity was more or less a warning of some kind, if not just random.
What color were these people?
They looked like they were white people with a good healthy tan.
Did they give you any indication of how old they were, or what they ate, or where they came from at all?
After we got off the ship, the man who invited me aboard, who didn't look a day over 28 years of age, told me that he was over 700 years of age in our time.
Oh, come off it, George.
That's right.
Was this the guy who gave you the formula for the time machine?
That's the man.
And what form did the formula take? Did he implant it in your mind by telepathy, or did he give you something written in English?
He spoke it to me verbally.
And you remembered this?
There's nothing to it to remember.
Will you tell me now? The formula for a time machine.
F equals 1 over T.
F equals 1 over T.
F being frequency and T being time.
And this enables me to go back to the time of Caesar's armies conquering Britain.
Well, it would enable a mathematician to work this out, yes.
And why hasn't this been acclaimed like Einstein's E equals MC squared?
Well, why hasn't the fact that the United States government's been flying anti-gravity ships since 1956 been acclaimed? Or the fact that there's a crater on the moon with a base in it since 1954, we've known this.
Found in China today that look similar to the ones in Egypt and other African countries. Well, earlier, this fascinated archaeologists who constructed theories that Chinese and African civilizations might be related. However, a groundbreaking study of the people of China's genomic makeup has been deliberately ignored. Interestingly, this study was conducted about 25 years ago, revealing the truth that might be as surprising as shocking. This study was conducted by China's National Academy of Science in collaboration with the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston, under the Chinese Human Genome Diversity Project. This revealed that today, Chinese people carry at least some portion of African DNA, which points toward only one thing: China has black roots. But could it be because of intermarriage or a trend in only a selected Chinese population? Well, the truth will shock you.
I can definitely believe that. I got a few videos on my channel that depict Buddha having dreads. So that would make a whole lot of sense.
As a former Satanist, warlock, what is the spirit, demonic spirit behind the Diddy?
Jezebel.
Talk about it.
Jezebel is a spirit. When I was in Santeria, right, Ochun. Ochun is the goddess of they call it the goddess of the ocean, the goddess of the river, I'm sorry. And she was the mother of the gold, the honey, right? That's how they described her, but she was Jezebel. Because when Ochun came down to a powerful medium, they had to bring a goat, represents a male, right? They tied the goat's mouth and they castrated him in front of her, alive. In other words, I took your manhood. And then the blood and all that, they do rituals with them. Don't need to get into that whole stuff. But that's what they do, right? So Diddy has a Jezebel spirit. Controlling, manipulative, dominating, okay? Diddy doesn't know the difference between man and woman anymore. All these men that he slept with, all these men that he took the manhood, it was to take your manhood. To make you, what he made him after he took the manhood, he made him an Ahab. See, that was the devil's doing. The devil said, these are the contracts, fulfill the contracts, all these contracts, and I give you all this power, right? Diddy fulfill the contract? The contracts are done. There's no more contracts to fulfill. Whether in the politic world, the movie world, the sport arena world, he did all the bidding. He did all the bidding. And you got people that, LeBron James, according to the situation, got a name tag on. I'm not gonna tag some man's name on my body.
Yeah.
That means ownership. Ooh. The devil tagged you to say, I own you, ownership. Okay, he has ownership. All these other actors and movie stars that he took your manhood. The freak off party, it's not a party, it is transfers of spirits. So you open your body to the drugs that's going on there. We saturate your body to open your body to put demonic spirits in your body, because the next person, that's what the Bible says, sex outside of marriage is a sin. Why is it a sin? Because of two reasons. It brings premature death, not spiritually, physically, if you catch AIDS or you catch a disease, brings premature death, right? And the other one is transfer spirits in you, all kind of spirits. If that person was a whoremonger and slept with people that had bipolar, slept with people that were depressed, oppression, drug addiction, those spirits now I own part of that. Timeshares. Spiritual timeshares. Wow. I own some of those spirits. Wow. So in the freak-off parties, that's what they did. So now the devil said, the contracts are over. I don't have any more contract for you. That's why you see Cardi B. Yeah. She's freaking out. She's catching meltdown. Katy Perry, meltdown, makeup, meltdowns. I don't want to do this anymore because the pressure's on for new contracts. So Diddy's the display that the devil's putting on display. Say, see, I'm done with him. I don't need him more. Now I'm going to destroy him, right? Because that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Remember, mark my words, it's going to happen. The devil don't want to give him any new contracts. Now that brings fear into Hollywood. That brings fear into the music business. Am I next? Am I the one that's going to be exposed next? Am I the one that's going to be put on display? Am I the one the devil's going to take out? So the devil said, no, I won't take you on one condition. Give me new contracts. Here's a new contract. Do this, do this, do this. Now they have to do it. They have no choice. So it's a demonic kingdom operating in fear, operating in stronghold bondages by one person. One person, think about it. How can one person affect all these people if you don't have the devil behind?
Unbelievable.
Look at all the people that he affected, that he came to his parties, okay? And the devil said, record them, because those are my contracts. Not record it because you have something on somebody. No, you have a contract on that person now. In other words, if you don't continue to do what I want you to do, and then I have leverage over you to expose you and to end your career. It's a demonic system into what was handed over to P. Diddy. One person cannot accomplish that in his own strength and his own doing. You need the devil and demons involved to get that done. That's a train wreck. Whew. Wow. And watch the coming days, watch the coming weeks. Think about it. The system that gave them the freedom to do it now has them spiritually incarcerated and don't want them to give them bail. The same system that it was okay for him to do this all these years, they knew about it, and now they got him incarcerated, and the devil said, don't let him out. Because he'll flee. Don't let him out. I need him to be an example. It's going to be worse than Epstein. Worse? Epstein was suicide. It wasn't suicide. They killed that guy. They killed him. P. Diddy don't give himself to the Lord wholeheartedly and turn from his wicked ways. The demise of what the devil has to him is worse than the Epstein.
It just never made sense to me why anybody would want to make a pact with the devil. It just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't add up at all. It's craziness. Super craziness.
It's like shapeshifting. What the frick, Martin? You see it? I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's really odd, though.
Zoom in just a little bit more, could you? I mean, you were zooming out and all that. You got to learn how to use your phone, buddy.
With AI, is evil, Satan, are they working through technology?
100%.
How so?
Since the dawn of technology, they've been working through technology. I mean, they manipulate everything. When I'm trying to print out a homily, the computer will suddenly jam up. It happens all the time. Anything that's going to expand God's kingdom, the computer just stops printing. And I have to say, in the name of Jesus Christ, I bind all spirits of blockage and games off this computer and this printer and send you to the foot of the cross, never to return here again. And then prints out. Things break in the home all the time. The lights will go out for no reason. And I spend a lot of the day just casting stuff out and things get back up. There's a Monsignor I know in D.C. who's an excellent exorcist. He does it full time. They text him. The demons text him.
What do they text him?
They send blasphemies. They say horrible things about Jesus and Mary.
Hey, you know what? In 2024, I think we all have demons texting us. But I think they call them scammers. You know what I mean? Those strange numbers just popping up, asking weird questions. Yeah, those are demons too.
If the top of the pot starts spinning, what that mean? Like what I'm supposed to do at this point?
Okay, y'all, so I'm watching Austin Powers. Just look at this shit. Am I tripping or not? I think I'm not tripping. I don't think I'm tripping. Does that say Diddy?
I used to think you were crazy. I know, but now I can see.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that definitely said Diddy. What does Austin Powers know about Diddy?
This is Focus 21. Focus 21 is an advanced state of consciousness identified by the Monroe Institute, representing the edge of time and space. It is often described as the bridge to other dimensions and higher planes of existence. In Focus 21, you go beyond the constraints of both time and space, experiencing a state where you are no longer bound by the physical world. This state is often perceived as the boundary or the gateway to other realities. Focus 21 allows you to perceive and interact with other dimensions, spiritual realms, and non-physical entities. You might encounter guides, higher aspects of yourself, or other consciousness existing in these realms. This state is conducive to deep spiritual insights, transformative experiences, and a greater understanding of your place in the larger cosmos. It can facilitate profound personal and spiritual growth. In Focus 21, you'll do things like exploring other dimensions, communicating with non-physical entities. It's a state that transcends the physical world, and this state is often seen as the gateway to even higher levels of consciousness.
Hey, is it me, or does Focus 21 sound like a code word for psychedelics or shrooms?
We know that the planet Saturn has a hexagram, a perfect hexagram at its north pole. What very few people know is that this hexagram has been known about by ancient people for as long as history has been recorded. People who did not have telescopes or the technology to view anything outside of the Earth's atmosphere besides the stars. That is quite the paradox. That's what's been on my mind lately about this subject. It is, number one, absolutely impossible for these people to have viewed Saturn, especially North Pole. Saturn being associated with the black cube, which has direct connection to the hexagon shape, which is a 2D format of the cube, proves to us without a doubt that these people over the centuries from all over the world understood that there was this anomaly at the peak of Saturn.
Be exposed. I mean, when I walk in, I definitely take pride in being the originator of the preparation of the sexy. Little things that I personally like. A lot of ladies, they just, so you have, if you don't have what they need, they're gonna leave. Right. Gotta keep them there. Right. You need locks on the doors. P. Diddy be wanting the body. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Nestle, 7 months this has been sitting here, dude. Ants won't eat it, but no kind of bugs will eat this, dude. Look, it's been in my storage shed now for over a month. I had it sitting outside for 2 or 3 months. I mean, look at that, dude. And y'all are still eating this stuff. And you're still feeding your children this stuff. I mean, what do you think this does when it goes in your body, man? Y'all are going to say, oh, it doesn't say ice cream on your box. No, Sherlock. I know it doesn't say ice cream on the box. Look at it. Just take a look. There's no mold whatsoever. 7 months, no mold, Nestle. 7, dude. Like, how is this even okay, man? How are y'all still making this stuff to feed the people? Look. Look at that, man. I mean, what? So, Nestle, how about y'all hit me up, man, and let's talk about this right here, because there's got to be a better, healthier way to do this right here, man. This just, it's not acceptable. It's not been acceptable for a long time, so stop making it. Just quit.
Hey, Nestle don't want to talk to you. They're making millions. But to be quite honest with you, I think, kids just have iron stomachs. Because when I was a kid, I used to tear those things up. But as an adult, I'm not too much interested in them. You know what I mean? Only because I already know what time it is. But hey, they're still unhealthy nonetheless.
Is a board that hovers on magnetic energy, and it works just like a skateboard, except it doesn't have any wheels, and you don't have to have any pavement to hover on. And they've been around for years. It's just that parents groups have not let the toy manufacturers make them, and we got our hands on some, and we put them in the movie.
Hey, you know how I know he's capping? Because even if they were outlawed, or the parents groups or whatever you said didn't want them, they'd be on the black market somewhere. You would see people on the street riding them if they were really real. Now, I could be wrong. And if you know something I don't about them, or where they're at, or where I could buy one, let me know. But until then, cap.
Things that I learned from whistleblowers from the cabal itself is that they have to work within something they call the rules. And this is very, very important. The rules state that they have to tell us what they're doing. Therefore, if we allow it to happen, we have consented to tyranny, we have consented to enslavement. Now, if you get into the secret history of the cabal, Queen Elizabeth's royal astrologer, a man named John Dee, who is the prototype of the wizard with the long beard, the hat, and what he did was to rediscover, through these ancient documents that were in the Vatican, the technology of how to access what they considered to be spiritual beings that were useful to them, but what we would consider to be demonic or evil beings. These beings need to be accessed through a very complex set of rituals and ceremonies. You cannot just ask for them to show up. You have to follow very elaborate and specific protocols. So John Dee rediscovered the technology of how to draw the magic circles, how to say the right incantations, how to actually do black magic on a governmental level. This is what people are going to have so much trouble with once disclosure happens, is that these people actually practice black magic.
What the hell is this? This is in Las Vegas. It looks like a flying alien. I know I'm not tripping. I even zoomed in.
I ain't gonna lie to you. On top of him being a horrible cameraman, I noticed the iPhones don't have a great zoom in. Those the Androids, some of those Androids have excellent zoom in. So that's really the problem in these situations when people keep saying, I zoomed in. Hey, but the zoom in isn't great, fam. At all.
Say something right now. Never been said before.
Exclusive. This is exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Big homie never said this before.
Cop
So
that. Let's get it.
So the reason I knew about that, see, I had said this 2 weeks before I even heard about what Choke No Joke said, right?
Wow. Okay.
So I had recorded my Cam Capone interview 2 weeks before Choke No Joke it came out.
Ah. Okay.
Now, here's the exclusive.
Hey, move your phone a little bit to your right, man. You kind of chopped out a little bit.
That's better right there?
For sure. For sure.
So here go the exclusive. You only gonna hear right now plugged in media.
My man.
Now, his daughter, Corinne, who stay in Beverly Hills in the mansion,
Yep.
she's the one who reached out and told me that she wanted something to happen to Combs for poisoning her pops.
Wow.
So her and her mom is the ones who reported him to the FBI while Jamie was in a coma.
Wow. That's crazy, bro. So
That's
the daughter and the mom. Oh, wow. That's wild.
What,
I wish I had the Hot 97. Doom, 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 doom. That's exclusive. You know what I'm saying? Wow, that's crazy, bro. So his daughter is the one that reached out and said they want something to happen to the boy because of what he did.
Yeah, so I told her, like, don't text this, call me. You feel me?
Right.
Because,
right.
You know, that'll look crazy in a text message. You feel me?
Oh, for sure, man.
Mm-hmm.
40 monkeys escaped from a bioresearch facility owned by Alpha Genesis last night in Beaufort County, South Carolina. It is not yet known what trials the escaped monkeys were taking part in, nor whether they were exposed to any diseases. A police search is underway, and residents are strongly advised to keep doors and windows secured.
Monkey business caught on camera.
Oh, they went left. They're behind that ridge now.
Some people going, well, bananas in South Carolina after dozens of monkeys escaped a research lab and disappeared into the woods.
God knows where they went, right?
At least 40 rhesus macaque monkeys broke out of the Alpha Genesis Research Center Wednesday after a worker failed to properly lock the cage. Within hours, animal control was on their tail, using thermal imaging cameras to help locate the furry fugitives. But the precocious primates still managed to evade capture. Officials say the escapees do not pose a public health risk, but they are warning people in the area to keep their eyes open and their doors closed.
Do not try to feed them. Do not try to take one as a pet, but just remain where you are inside, somewhere safe, and we'll get someone out there.
Hey, whoever screwed that up, they got fired for that. But on the upside, at least the monkeys are free. They can do what they want to do without being examined, poked, and prodded, all that kind of craziness. So big shout out to them too.
Vatican represents the real powers of this world, not Jewish at all. The Jewish yarmulke, that's a Catholic symbol, not Jewish. So you need to understand that if there's a conspiracy going on, it's Rome. If there's ever been a truth on this earth, the Vatican is behind the demise of America and the whole world. All you've got to do is look at Washington, D.C., and understand that Caesar, the seat of power for the Roman Empire, was called Capitol Hill. And that's why we today have a Capitol Hill. And the word capital is a Latin word for money. And always money had a dome. It's called dumas. It's the power, dynamite, dumas, the power of money. And consequently, that's why our Capitol has a dome, the Capitol Dome. And under the domus, you have the Senate, the United States Senate. No, the Roman Senate. And on both sides of the presidential podium where the president stands to give his State of the Union message, on both sides are 8-foot-high fasciites, a bundle of sticks with a hatchet head. They are Roman symbols for world fascism.
J-Lo was like his ex-girlfriend, and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
You know?
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously, it's like insane.
Publicly, openly, like all in.
Yes. It's like...
It's so comedy that we live in such a different time now than maybe like 5-10 years ago. Celebrities are getting roasted publicly now for everything that they do. And they're not being glorified like they once were. People are starting to understand that these celebrities are just normal people, man.
Think about today, 1 in 36 children are autistic today. As compared to 1980, it was 1 in 10,000. That's critical when you start to think about, and they're predicting it's going to be 1 in 2 very soon.
And then what kind of society are we going to have?
Yeah.
Here's a warning before your next beach vacation. Be careful what you're picking up on the beach.
My kids were picking, or they thought they were collecting seashells, but they actually collected clams, 72 to be exact.
What the Russ family didn't know on their vacation to Pismo Beach late last year, clamming has regulations. They got a ticket on the spot. Did you see that number? Ooh. It was a notice to pay more than $88,000. A judge did take some pity on the family, reduced the fine to $500. Wildlife officials say the regulations are important to preserve the clam population.
Hey, now we all know Pismo Beach is not playing around about them clams, man. A ticket for $88K. That's how you know they lost it, and they're thirsty for that money, man.
2 years ago, ChatGPT was launched. Shortly after that, GPT-4. We're now a year and a half after GPT-4 was launched. And my company, 01.ai, has just launched a new model called eLightning that is better than GPT-4 and 500 times cheaper. So of course, other companies have also built great models and at lower costs. We are seeing technology getting better and better. We're seeing every year and a half or so, with additional computation, AI goes from kindergarten to elementary school to high school, college, and soon PhD level. And that will help us do so many tasks in our lives, and we can almost predictably see what that it will do given the speed of change and the dramatic costs.
Never refriend or refamily a person who tried to destroy your character, your integrity, or your relationships with others. A snake only sheds its skin to be a bigger snake. If others fall victim and walk away from you because of that, let them. Sooner or later, the snake will bite them too.
Hey, if that wasn't a message, I don't know what is.
These images, taken on March 23, 2024, were snapped in the vast open landscape somewhere between Phoenix and Flagstaff, Arizona. They depict a series of mysterious circular rings that drew comparisons to UFOs due to their unusual and precise formations. In one image in particular, there seems to be a fourth circular shape above the others with 3 smaller lights surrounding it. Could these mysterious shapes really be alien craft, as some commenters suggested?
What does this look like to you?
It's a thumb drive.
Not a thumb drive. So if I open this up, inside of this, you see the SD card in there?
Yeah.
So when this is plugged into a computer, the computer believes that it is a keyboard. So it's an HID device. So when I plug this into any computer, doesn't matter if it's Mac, Linux, Windows, it's gonna not think this is a flash drive, and it's gonna start firing off keystrokes at superhuman speeds. So I have a payload configured on here that will automatically install malware on your computer, dump all the passwords out of your browser, save them to, it's called an FTP file share. It's like a folder on the internet. It saves those passwords and installs the malware so that I can access your computer later, and then I unplug it from your computer, I walk away, and I'm done. You know, if I leave one of these on the ground outside of your office, or I just leave one in the bathroom, I think, oh, what's on that flash drive? And then before you have a chance to even pull it out, a payload got executed on your computer.
Holy sh**. So, alright, so it takes the passwords out of your browser. What if you use...
And puts malware on your computer.
Have you ever heard of the tuxedo fish and how it can electrocute the water for a mile radius all around it and kill every living creature if it so chooses? So this is the tuxedo fish. I bet you're noticing those yellow dots that look like star constellations on its stomach. So it can electrically charge those up to 1 mile and kill any type of prey that's a mile away. It's one of my favorite animal species for this, marine animal species, for this secret power that it has. Don't worry if you're a human and you're swimming in the water. It's not going to electrocute you. The current that it creates is not strong enough, but it will give you a little jolt. You know, it will give you a little kick. But for, you know, minnows, sea creatures, it's gonna kill them, and then it will swim up and it will envelop itself around the creature critter and digest it and soak it up into those yellow things to get its energy. Anyway, love the tuxedo fish.
Thank God it looks like he rolls solo, because if it was a pack of them, they could probably cause some serious damage to humans, sharks, or whoever else they came encounter with.
What is Bill Gates trying to hide? According to the New York Times, Bill Gates has given Kamala Harris over $50 million. Could it have anything to do with keeping the Epstein client list quiet? Elon Musk told the truth to Tucker. He knows all about this Epstein client list. Watch this.
You know, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so you know, in general, you always have to be careful.
Will that ever come out, do you think?
You know, I think part of why Kamala's getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gates.
And Gates.
Yeah.
And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes. Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
Because of the disclosure that would follow?
I think he's certainly ideologically not aligned with Trump anyway, but I think he is concerned about the Epstein situation.
Of course. It's one of the big reasons, of course, that Melinda Gates divorced Bill Gates, his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
You know, it was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not, that was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing, it was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was
evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So, my heart breaks for these young women because that's how I felt. And here I'm an older woman. My God, I feel terrible for those young women. It's awful. You felt that the moment you walked in. I didn't realize awful. that. Yeah. And you shared that with Bill, and he still continued to spend time with him? Any of the questions remaining about what Bill's relationship there was, those are for Bill to answer. Okay. But I made it very clear how I felt about him. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So $50 million Bill Gates just donated to Kamala Harris, because that Epstein client list will remain behind. It will remain sealed if Kamala Harris wins the presidency.
Yes.
Absolutely 100%.
You know what? Hey, there's two main takeaways that I took from that clip. The first one was when she asked Bill Gates, is there anything to learn? And the first thing he says is, well, he's dead. And I'm thinking, okay, so Bill's not scared to use his money to get things handled, if you know what I mean. And secondly, his wife, a woman's intuition, man. The first meeting, she knew that man was a demon. So, you cannot never underestimate a woman's gut feeling or intuition. They just know. And she tried to warn him too. And when he wasn't with that, she had to split. So Bill might be in a world of trouble, and we might get to watch it live. So let's stay tuned.
Okay, you guys. So Donald Trump becomes the 47th president of the United States. We are not surprised. Going through my comments on YouTube, I seen someone say, I'm just here to say you predicted Trump winning the elections. I did. I posted this video called The Last President 4 months ago. Everything was planned. I already told you guys. Go watch that video to see all the predictive programming that was put in place that was going to determine who the last president was going to be. Everything is already pre-written, pre-scripted. They got you guys divided over red versus blue when the real war is something you can't even see. It's a spiritual warfare. When you are voting, you are giving your energy away willingly. You are basically consenting to the rulers of this matrix, whatever you want to call it. The etymology of the word vote literally means a vow, a wish, or a promise to a god. Notice that God is spelt with a lowercase g. This is not the God, the creator. This is a false idol. Just as if someone would bow down to Jesus, you guys are bowing down to a false idol, a false god. Here's another one for you. Votive, a candle that is used as a prayer offering. This right here is nothing more than a ritual to a false god. And y'all made a promise to that god unknowingly. So ask yourself, what god did you vote for? But like I said before, I already knew that Trump was going to win, not just with the predictive programming alone, but the fact that Trump is connected to Elon Musk. These two are going to be a force during these upcoming years. And I even predicted that 1 year ago. In this video right here, I explained to you guys how these two are connected and how they are going to work together for their agenda. And that was 1 year ago. And then we got this happening that completely confirms everything that I was telling you guys. Donald Trump is the best candidate to help roll out this beast system. And if you don't know what I mean when I say beast system, I mean this Neuralink brain chip that Elon Musk is trying to promote. That Elon Musk stated himself will replace cell phones within the next 10 years. Elon Musk is a figurehead for this beast system, so of course they are going to make him likable. He's likable to the younger crowd, and he's likable to the older conservative crowd. People are what sells products and ideas. The people. The powers that are in control of us, they understand human emotions, and they understand the connections that we make to certain characters. These two are characters, actors, whatever you want to call them. Within these next 4 years, things are going to change, and change is not necessarily a bad thing. This change will be a new beginning. We all know empires on average last 250 years. America is at that point. Things will crumble in order to rebuild itself.
I could tell you for a fact I'm not getting no Neuralink. I'll keep my cell phone. I don't have a problem with that. But that's interesting. That's very interesting. I wish she would have left the link to her YouTube page. I'll look for it, and if I can, I'll put the link below so you guys can check it out, because that's definitely interesting for sure.
The image, we see a long line
a couple of star-like things, and a lot of things swimming in the foreground.
The camera captures a swarm of objects flying around the giant tether. Photo analyst Mark D'Antonio is fascinated by the footage.
These large objects that appear to be floating behind the tether, and because they're sharply outlined, they appear to be some type of intelligently constructed vehicle.
The objects' apparent size was just as remarkable as their sheer numbers.
The tether is miles and miles away, and it's 12 miles long, and these objects appear to be themselves miles across. And this is what excited the UFO community so much. This was their smoking gun.
But D'Antonio believes that the footage isn't what it appears to be. This experiment demonstrates what he thinks happened.
What I've done is I've cut this piece of material to simulate the tether seen in the STS-75 footage. It's very reflective, just like the real tether was.
D'Antonio positions the tether away from the camera. Then, he hangs some small particles in front of it and starts filming.
The particles are very brightly lit, and they're also out of focus. When they're out of focus, they look very large.
Video footage captures the optical illusion. Small objects in the foreground appear to pass behind the distant, bright tether.
So this shows that the STS-75 incident, which caused a massive uproar, was nothing more than a video illusion.
I do not know what that thing was, and I don't know what it is today. Unidentified and unknown.
And you know what? I think he just burst a lot of bubbles with that one. Because that makes a lot of sense. Anything that isn't in focus, it definitely does appear to be a lot bigger for the most part. And we know that space is full of junk. They say space is just full of crap. Just a lot of different things floating around. You know, just because we don't know what they are, I guess you could call them unidentified objects, but we're looking for UFOs here. You know what I mean? We're looking for the real deal.
Ask ChatGPT how they can leave the Matrix. How they can leave the Matrix and leave what reality is right now. It says something weird. What ChatGPT said to make a pyramid. What? These ancient civilizations that people say are more highly spiritual powered or intellectual in spirits. What did they all have in common? They're building pyramids all around the world. The ancient Aztecs, the Egyptians, everyone. To escape the Matrix, you have to make a pyramid. That's what the AI said. Some people say like it could be a portal. One theory is it resembles levels of consciousness. Like it will be a diagram. A pyramid's like this, pretty much a wider base and the top is very thin. It resembles how many people are on a low and how many people are on a high. Higher conscience or even just like higher frequency.
Instead of viewing others as bad or wrong or evil, simply view them as limited. Their level of consciousness limits them to unpalatable behaviors, and they simply cannot do better considering their current level of understanding and awareness. They are not bad, they are simply limited. This small shift in perspective allows you greater peace, greater compassion, forgiveness, and grace. Remember, the higher you move in consciousness, the less fault you find in others.
Yeah, that clip is more relevant than you know. So many people get passes because the bigger person will acknowledge that the smaller person obviously is oblivious to the current situation and the reality of it. So you just, you give them a pass and you let them live. But for that time. Now, if you keep coming around acting crazy, acting dumb, you're going to find what you're looking for, at some point. But that first initial time, I'm going to let you live because I see that you're not on that same level. So I'm going to let you go.
You drove into a house.
No, I didn't. I'm not driving the vehicle, and we're all good.
No, it's not good.
No, it's good, because I'm not operating the vehicle.
No, you are operating the vehicle, man.
No, I'm not.
You drove into a house.
No, I didn't.
You did, actually.
Which house?
One down here on Newtown Road.
Which
right.
house on Newtown Road?
Was there another one you hit?
No.
You seem a little confused. So
No,
you've suffered a whole bunch of damage. I think that popped off right about there. You see the skid marks? And so when that popped off, she wasn't able to go any further. She was on the phone with AAA, and she's like, I'll call you back, I guess.
We'll be there about 8 a.m. to get you.
Okay, ma'am, go ahead and step out of the car.
No, I'm not going to step out the car.
Okay, you went off the road, you hit a guardrail, you've got parts of the guardrail stuck in your grill. There is a house that got hit by something heavy, a white car.
I wasn't near a house that hit a car.
Okay, so yeah, the house didn't hit the car, a car hit.
She was doing her best to stand on business, but man, she better go find a lawyer.
That shit is crazy. It's a fucking cloud with lights in it. Moving weird. I've never seen no shit like that. Cloud got sparkly lights in it. I've never seen no shit like that. Moving weird. I know you see them sparkling lights in it. Never seen no shit like this in my life.
Don't trust Elon at all.
What was he doing?
There's a clip of him talking where he's talking about Neuralink, and he's saying that Neuralink can now take a snapshot. He's like, he compared it to like saving in a game. He was like, there's nothing in science that should prevent us from being able to take that same Neuralink chip and implant it into another biological being.
Oh my gosh.
But think about that. If he's creating robots that need human consciousness to operate, could he be could he pull Neuralinks?
Like put the consciousness, if you will, into a robot.
You live forever.
Couldn't you offer that as a job? Like somebody who doesn't have a job, they could like wear their glasses and like the remote, and you could be an assistant to somebody in LA. You're maybe not getting paid as much as because you're not there, and actually, but like you literally be walking around in their house doing chores, but you're in your house.
I bet you that's going to happen. Your artificial intelligence is not smart enough to do these things yet. Yeah. Why not have people operate it? Like at least in like a Tesla station or something.
So it'd be like having a driver. Like if you just hire a driver.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Came across a flying saucer that was just had these two dudes who didn't look like gray aliens. They looked like humans, like exercising outside the ship. Yeah, except one question. They asked him about Jesus, right? Yeah. And that was the one question they could not answer. I find that fascinating. Jeff Crapo, actually, I was at a conference with him at the Esalen Institute in 2022, and he had a little PowerPoint introducing the main things we were going to talk about in this group of PhDs at this really iconic place in the cliffsides outside of Big Sur, and he brought that up in his little slide. He brought up Aston Walton, I forget his name, but the guy who interviewed Leo Dworshak about this interaction. But he brought that up specifically. Like, this was the one question. They answered all his questions about electromagnetism, language, travel through space and time, but they wouldn't talk about Jesus. And Jeff was like, we all need to think about that. What does that mean? Whether they're extraterrestrial, time travelers, whatever. What does that mean? He pulled out
the importance of that too. And I'm glad you did, because I think it is really telling and ties into what I was just talking about. Like, how do these things relate if they are future humans and they are coming back? They must be aware.
If they can go back from hundreds of thousands of years in the future to now, they could certainly go back to...
And they must be aware that it's influencing our cultures tremendously. Cranial morphine, the cranial boarding, intentional cranial modification is the technical term for it.
Yes.
We see this across the world and through time in almost every major civilization throughout the world, and a lot of small ones. Even Neanderthals might have done it. But why? Why are they forcing their children's head, which must have been tremendously painful?
Yeah.
Why are they doing this unless there's some huge reason for it? And even there was a study, Geertsen and Geertz in 1995, where they interviewed people. Why are you doing this? Because our ancestors were instructed by the gods to do it, is what they said. Who are these gods? The gods, if they're future humans, if they're aliens, whether they're future human or not, have big round heads. How do you get that shape? You squish your head from front to back.
I definitely would have liked them to go even a bit deeper than that. Not just Jesus, but ask them to talk about Buddha. Ask them to talk about any other religion as well, just to see, what their reaction to that might have been. Because that is interesting. That's definitely interesting.
James' #1 best-selling book is his book on sorcery and witchcraft. That's what he really was known for. A lot of people don't know that that's his best-selling book, not the Bible.
Yeah.
King James also was a pedophile.
A pedophile.
So you're talking about a man that has no real morals, that is into dark energy and dark magic. And then, of course, he's now saw an opportunity to profit from putting this book together. And this book is heavily curated by the Council of Nicaea in King James.
Constantine.
Yes, Constantine. Yeah. Under the Pope's order, to create this book, which they call the canonized Bible, which people have the illusion that it was written in real time. In other words, somebody's following around. Hey, Jesus, say that one more again, because I just didn't get that last sentence you said. Hey, Moses, can you repeat what God said to you on top of Sinai? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
The Bible was written long after these people were dead and gone. And when it gets down to being a prophet, I can predict that I'm going to pick up this glass of water, and then I can pick it up. Prophecy fulfilled. You see, so when things happen after the event has already happened, when you write down things after the event has already happened, you can create all kind of prophecies in there.
I definitely didn't focus too much on him talking about the prophecy. I looked more and did some homework on the King James and the witchcraft book, and it's definitely like 260 something pages. So that's a real thing. You should definitely check it out. Go do your homework on that.
More than 300 new sightings.
What the is going on?
You still think that's a fucking flare?
Oh, whoa. What is that?
Maybe alien contact is much closer in our future than we are led to believe.
Did you see how fast she just went?
A dramatic increase in UFO sightings. About half of them remain unexplained.
Somebody help me understand that.
Imagine strolling through a field when suddenly the sky above morphs into something unthinkable, an extraordinary vision in the clouds. As the storm brewed, something miraculous, or perhaps ominous, began to take shape. Look closely.
A face.
Does it not seem as if a colossal face, perhaps that of Zeus himself, is forming within the storm? From a vague silhouette to shockingly distinct features. Nose, jawline, even what appears to be a beard. Observe how every detail grows more defined by the minute. The furrowed brows, the deep-set eyes. Can you see the mythical beard and what looks like flowing hair? Is this a mere trick of nature or something meant to stir the soul? In the dead of a thunderous night, two friends captured more than just a storm. Watch closely.
Over here, come here. Look right above the trees. Come here, Fever. Right above the trees. What? Dude, what is that?
A glowing orb floats ominously among the clouds, lighting up every time the lightning strikes.
It's not moving. Oh my gosh, dude. Me neither. Oh, dude. Did you see how fast the ship went?
Appearing seemingly out of nowhere, moves with such an impossible speed that even our cameraman struggles to keep up. It zips away, almost slipping from our view before it darts back into frame.
Where did it go?
And then just as quickly as it arrived, it takes off, disappearing completely out of sight.
Dude, where did that thing go, bro? Did you see how fast it just left?
How is it moving so quickly through the stormy backdrop? What the hell is that? These words echo the thoughts of many who have watched this footage. In this next video, a group of friends are driving along some dark back roads of a mountain after a snowstorm when they encounter something strange. Take a look.
What the
An array of bright lights cuts through the darkness, forming what appears to be a massive ship hovering ominously ahead in the sky. These lights, seemingly part of a single colossal entity, glide across the night with a grace that bellies their size.
What the is going on? Watch this guys.
It's way too massive to be any ship that I've ever seen. This is probably some sort of CGI. But then, taking a closer look, this video started to convince me that whatever this thing was, it might actually be legit. Notice how the glowing lights from the ship reflect off the snowy dark road. Next, over the skyline of an urban city in China, residents were startled by a spectacle that turned a normal night into a scene from a sci-fi thriller.
啥子意思啊？不，好像那种。
Thousands of small glowing dots swarm the sky, circling the moon like a celestial dance. Onlookers from balconies could only gape in awe and fear, pondering what they were witnessing. Is it a swarm of insects, a flock of nocturnal birds, or something far more sinister?
哇，好神奇啊！这会这么多啦？
We turn to you, our viewers. What's your take on this sky full of secrets? Simply earthly anomaly, or a celestial message from beyond? Let us know your thoughts. During a gloomy night in Istanbul, a young onlooker's camera captured something truly unsettling. Prepare yourselves. This clip is rather creepy. Look closely. Amidst the chaos of the storm, a sinister face appears, sparking whispers of dread among the locals. Some locals and viewers of the footage believe this was the wrath of God looking down upon the city. The clip is brief, yet it's enough to send shivers down the spine of anyone who dares to gaze upon it. And that's not the only time that observers have reported the sky behaving in unimaginable ways. Take a look at this insane footage captured in the middle of the day. While jogging in the park, a woman and her boyfriend spot an unusual gleam in the sky. Zoom in and you'll notice what seems like cracks forming, with radiant light piercing through, as if the sky itself were fracturing. And if that's not enough, take a look at this.
Right now, Randy. What the hell? Come look in the sky right now, dude. Huh? It's a luminescent, transluminescent. What the call it?
A mysterious glowing ring, almost resembling a portal of some sort, hovers motionlessly. It rotates gently, defying gravity and all conventional explanations. What could cause such a thing?
Come look in the sky right now, dude.
But that's not all. From an even higher vantage point aboard an aircraft, another traveler captures this.
What is that? Gary, what is that?
Don't move me. Don't move me.
A similar ring, serene yet otherworldly, appears just outside of her airplane window. It begs the question, what are we actually looking at here? Could these be natural atmospheric phenomenon? Or are we glimpsing something far beyond our current understanding? Could these visions suggest a rupture in the very fabric of our reality? Or do you think maybe it's just a way of interdimensional beings visiting us from another realm altogether?
Hey, watching that clip makes me realize I might just be showing an alien interview in the near future. Like, it might just be here. You know, we've been seeing all these warning signs, these videos of like spacecraft showing up, things like that. So the next thing, you know, just makes sense. You know, we'll be seeing aliens just come down and have a conversation. And that might just be the creepiest of all.
Imagine a universe where every decision you make creates a new reality, where particles spontaneously pop into existence from nothing and time itself flows backwards. In this universe, you chose to watch this video, but in another, you scrolled past. Our perception of reality is shaped by classical physics, where objects have definite positions and predictable trajectories. But beneath this familiar world lies the realm of quantum physics, and it's about to change how you see everything. As we enter into the quantum realm, reality becomes even stranger than time paradoxes and multiverses. Objects can exist in multiple places simultaneously, and the very act of looking at something fundamentally changes its nature. This is the fundamental principle of quantum mechanics known as superposition. It challenges our most basic assumptions about reality and forces us to reconsider everything we thought we knew about the nature of existence. Picture a beam of particles, such as photons, fired at a screen with two parallel openings, or slits. Classical physics predicts that these particles would create two distinct bands on the screen behind the slits. However, the actual result is far more puzzling. When the particles pass through the slits, they create an interference pattern on the screen, similar to what we'd expect if we were dealing with waves rather than particles. This observation suggests that each particle somehow passes through both slits simultaneously, interfering with itself like a wave would. But here's where it gets truly mind-bending. If we attempt to observe which slit each particle passes through, the interference pattern disappears, and we see two distinct bands as originally expected. Just by observing, it seems like we force the particles to act like regular objects, picking one path instead of behaving like waves. It's as if reality itself is uncertain, existing as a cloud of probabilities until we interact with it. But if particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously, what does this mean for the objects they compose? Is the chair you're sitting on truly in one definite location, or is it in a superposition of many possible states until observed? These questions lead us to one of the most debated interpretations of quantum mechanics, the Copenhagen interpretation, which suggests that quantum systems exist in a superposition of all possible states until a measurement collapses this superposition into a definite state. In other words, reality as we know it may not exist in a concrete form until we observe it. Yet, the strangeness of quantum mechanics doesn't end with superposition and uncertainty. What if two particles could remain connected regardless of the distance between them, instantaneously influencing each other's states? This is quantum entanglement, or what Einstein famously called spooky action at a distance. In a typical entanglement scenario, two particles become inextricably linked, sharing a quantum state that persists even when they're separated by vast distances. If one particle's spin is measured and found to be up, the other particle's spin, even if it's light years away, will instantaneously be found to be down. This correlation occurs despite the absence of any direct interaction between the particles, which violates the principle that information cannot travel faster than light.
De Niro's building a $1 billion studio. How is that going to make money? What's the business plan? Is it over 30 years? That's my question.
De Niro's 81, isn't he? Like, what? How old is De Niro?
But that's what I'm saying. In the rating system of Hollywood, PG-13, rated R, which rating is the most profitable?
I would say PG.
Wrong. It's G. The children's films that are animated stories like Cinderella are the most profitable in all of Hollywood, and yet they're 30% of the production. So why would the system make 70% of something that doesn't make as much as the 30%? Why? Because it's spiritual. Because the devil runs Hollywood. And he wants that negative 70% to teach your kids all these other things. But the 30%, which makes the most money, is happiness and loving your mom and dad, and they make the most money. Why would Hollywood make less of the most profitable?
You know what? He posed a really good question. Why wouldn't Hollywood do that? If that smaller percentage is generating way more money, you know, it's something to marinate on for sure.
In the basement of his new house, this guy finds a hole in the wall that leads to a secret tunnel.
Hole. I advise go in it.
No way, Jimmy. Oh my God, bro. Are you kidding me? Come out here.
And the creepiest thing about it is, the hole was clearly boarded up from the inside, which means whoever did it never came out.
You know, what happened in 1990? There was no plague that was killing children, that we had to triple the amount of vaccines.
What happened after 1989?
Why did they
That warranted 26 more vaccines.
Agreed.
Are all of them absolutely necessary?
Because they want to make money.
Of course.
It's twice as many as anywhere else in 30 countries in the Western world. But we give twice as many shots as any of those countries. Why is that? I don't think we can afford to assume that the people who are charged with our public health any longer have our best interest at heart all the time. Parents have to make their own decisions, educated decisions. They have to look at the information.
Space out the vaccines, delay them till after 1, clean out the toxins that are in them. We don't need that many.
Why would a doctor not want to know more about something that could save a life or prevent a disease? I don't understand.
The AAP is financed by the drug companies. Medical schools are financed by the drug companies. This is a huge business. Vaccines are the largest growing division of the pharmaceutical industry. $13 billion.
They control medical schools.
What we're asking is for them to take a loss for the good of our children.
$13 billion. Vaccines are probably one of the biggest industries in the world. Just make sure you're taking your health into consideration, into your own hands, knowing what you're eating, knowing how to stay healthy.
Let me tell you something. Please. People tell you who they are. You just have to listen. Everybody tells you exactly if you're supposed to be them or not. They tell you. You just have to listen.
How soon?
Their body language, certain shit that they say, they let you know. They let you know. Listen, don't fuck with me. I'm bad for you.
Wow.
You just have to listen to that shit.
Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you didn't listen? And
absolutely.
Many times.
And absolutely. And every time, what you do is you give people the benefit of the doubt. You try to believe that they're going to be a good person, and you try to believe that this mother has your best interest at heart.
Right.
And
then it
fails every time.
It fails every time.
They tell you off top. They tell you with the body language or with their words or whatever if you should with them or not. And it's your fault if you keep pushing with that certain motherfucker.
You know what? He wasn't lying at all. You know, the majority of people love to give people the benefit of a doubt. But the reality is, within that first time of meeting somebody, you generally know whether that person's for you or not. You know what I mean? Let me know what you think about that, though.
Turns out that the human DNA follows Moore's law, and this means that every 600 million years, it will double in complexity. You go back from today, 2024, 600 million years, it would be half the complexity. Go back 600 million years, half the complexity.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so if you did that, you get to the original point where it doesn't, you can't go back anymore. And that original point, meaning, is when the first human DNA was born, let's say, and that turns out to be 9 billion years ago. So if the human DNA is 9 billion years old, but planet Earth is how old? 5 billion years? This means that the human DNA is older than the planet.
Wow.
So where was it? That's proof that the human DNA existed somewhere else.
Interesting.
And was implanted on planet Earth.
Stars are literally in a line and they are moving across the sky. Also, I've been watching the moon and the moon has been moving up in a weird position. I've never seen. I have no idea what's going on. Look how fast they're moving. What on earth is going on? What on earth is going on?
Look, no hands. And no driver, for that matter. Scientists assure us that it's the shape of things to come in highway travel. This robot car is the latest project under study by the Road Research Laboratory. It's all done by computerized electronic impulses relayed to the car through a special receiving unit fixed to the front. Signals picked up from the inlaid track are interpreted by the unit to change the car's course or its speed, rather similar to the automatic pilot system used in aircraft. Sometime in the future, they say, every vehicle on a main road network could be taken by remote control all the way to its destination. It may seem a bit of a pipe dream at the moment, but researchers say that robot cars may well be in everyday use within 30 years.
Rothschilds come from the Orsini family. Roth means red in German, and the Orsini means red, little red bears. The grey pope is Pepe Orsini. He trumps the black, he trumps the white pope.
The grey pope is even higher than the black and the white pope.
The Orsini is the Maxima family. They are on top. And somehow they've trumped the Colonna and the Farnese, which I know, without any doubt, through all my studies, that they are the three most powerful Illuminati families.
What about Rothschild and Rockefeller?
Well, they are Orsini. They just changed their name. Rockefeller were Rothschilds. Rothschilds were Orsini. Orsini were a family which have their bloodlines in Babylon and Egypt. They tell you that. The Rothschilds say that. We go back to Nimrod. So Rockefeller, Rothschild, Orsini, and then you go back to the Persian and Egyptian dynasties.
And what is the name of the top family?
Orsini would be on top now because they're called the Maxima. Under them would have to be the Collins, the Colonna, the Columbus families. It's the Venetian funds that they created. It's where all the money power is. And then the Farnese. Some people say the Farnese are the most powerful because they actually created the Tuscan Empire. They created the 12 founding cities of the Etruscan Empire, which the Romans supposedly destroyed. But the theory is that they went down to Rome and created that as well.
All of what you see today are all just cheap knockoffs of the past, shelved until they could figure out a way to maximize profit off of it, while producing it as cheap as possible. Check out this 1950s electric skateboard, or even further back. How about the 1940s? Now these technologies might not have been perfect back then, but it always amazes me how almost 100 years ago and beyond, their inventions just had so much more diversity and innovation. Here's the Autopad, the 1915 version of both electric and gas scooter. I bet all these two-wheeled scooters you see are much more durable and reliable than those lithium-ion batteries we have now in our scooters. The next one isn't battery powered, but it's still pretty darn cool. Just shows another example of the many different varieties of awesome innovations on two wheels from our past that all seem more solid and well built than any cheap plastic thing we get sold to us today. Question everything, friends.
Nope, he wasn't lying about that. There's nothing new under the sun. Literally.
What's around it, what will happen next, and what it should do. Here you are, and we developed a comfort mode, adjusting the pedals to a perfect resting position.
It's amazing.
So if you're in some sort of a biological disaster area, you can drive through your Tesla.
Yes. It's literally this like biohazard defense mode where it basically pressurizes the car. So it's like The car is under positive pressure with all the air coming through a gigantic HEPA filter, and then even the air inside the car is recirculating in a secondary filter. It's got the most advanced filtration system of any car by far, literally hospital grade.
Wow.
You could do an operation in the car. It's insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we got a little carried away.
I'm glad you get carried away.
In 1973, FedEx was down to their last $5,000. So the founder flew to Vegas and gambled the company on a game of blackjack. This is Frederick Smith, the founder of FedEx. He went to Yale, and while he was there, he wrote a paper outlining an idea for an overnight delivery service. And his business professor was not impressed. He actually told him that he needs to change his idea to something feasible if he wanted to get a good grade. But like all great entrepreneurs, Frederick was determined to prove him wrong. By 1971, he had launched FedEx, putting $4 million of his own money along with $80 million in loans. For context, that would be roughly $690 million today. FedEx had 14 Dassault Falcon 20 planes and was offered in 30 cities. But Frederick ran into some major problems. Fuel was rising, debt was mounting, and they were about to go bankrupt. Smith turned to investors, but they didn't want to bail out a company that was bleeding cash. With only $5,000 left in his bank account and a fuel bill of $24,000 due, Frederick just decided to go to Vegas and risk it all. Now, he wasn't just a degenerate gambler. He actually knew how to count cards. See, Frederick is a war hero that did 2 tours in Vietnam and has pretty much every war medal you can imagine. While deployed, him and the other officers would play a ton of blackjack, and that's where he learned to count cards. So when he got to Vegas, he was only there for a couple hours before winning $27,000. That money gave him enough breathing room to secure another round of funding. Just 3 years later, the company generated $3.6 million in revenue. And now in 2024, the company is worth more than $65 billion.
Imagination is the beginning of creation. You imagine what you desire, and then you believe it to be true. Every dream could be realized by those self-disciplined enough to believe it.
Pop Task Force was created to watch Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, to watch the artists that was connected with P. Diddy. And then it just grew. What they were doing was profiling black people that were making money in the music industry, even if they wasn't committing any crimes. A lot of times people say, you're a conspiracy theorist, you watch too many movies or something like that, you know? But a lot of stuff I was learning was very real, you know, and we're supposed to be out here like you know, everything is fine, life goes on, but you know, that's some shit that needs to stop. Yeah, that was when I first realized what was happening out here in this world and the genocide that they were putting on our people, like just speaking for our people right now, covertly. That made me cry.
Kind of initiation, you know, commencement, whatever it is, that where they really scrutinize you and they hear your voice and they see you and they interview you and they decide.
Well, this year I think I'm just going to keep it simple. You know, I do these elaborate things every year. I go, you know, all over the place. I do, you know, it's always so busy. So I just wanted to keep it real. I think I'm going over to Puff Daddy's house.
Really, that's just a nice sort of chestnuts roasting.
Beautiful. Very
really
beautiful.
nice atmosphere there.
Amazing. Bing Crosby playing.
Can you get us in?
Who's Bill Cosby?
I don't know.
I don't know. Bing Crosby, Bill Cosby.
No one knows anymore.
I get mixed up.
The gold juice that I will live forever and I'll have whatever I want. The gold juice. You never offered the gold juice?
No, I'm a scumbag comic. What's the gold juice?
I don't know, but I didn't drink it and I didn't want it. And
is this
I noticed when all the girls, certain girls on Orange changed. Yeah, it's a real thing. It's like a real thing.
A shocking interview with Jim Carrey just surfaced where Jim warned us about Diddy and the depraved Hollywood rituals that made him walk away from the industry for good. Jim hinted at some bizarre, almost cult-like behavior in Hollywood, and Diddy and his freak-offs are just the tip of the iceberg. And according to Jim Carrey, this wasn't a one-off thing. He believes there's something much bigger going on in the entertainment industry, and that these freak-offs are just a small part of something much more sinister. Over the years, Jim's made some cryptic comments in the interviews on social media, hinting that there's a side of Hollywood that the public never sees, and it's apparently involving all kinds of sick and twisted rituals. So what exactly did Jim Carrey say about Diddy's parties, and what are these dark rituals he's really talking about? Let's get into it.
You know, when they get out there in the woods in a circle naked and they decide these things, and, you know, and you know, look at him trying to come it up.
The ongoing drama around Diddy and his alleged crimes has sparked a major backlash against Hollywood, and fans are calling out celebrities for staying silent all these years because basically they're accusing him of being complicit in all these horrors we've heard in the Diddy lawsuits.
Jim definitely needs to come out, do an interview, and just say it all, you know? Put it all on the table, Jim, because we're all ears, for a fact.
What the heck?
2 moons.
Where?
Crazy, right?
Yeah, you're...
Just keep videoing and then turn around the sunset. Look how pretty it is over there. Now zoom in over there.
Yeah, that's... I don't think that was supposed to be there.
Now go back to the sunset. Oh.
Peace, family. In this video, we have a 4-headed winged dragon. Now, in this video, the dragon is flying around. I don't know if this dragon is learning how to fly or something is wrong with it, but the reason why I believe this video is real is because the background, as the tail is going back and forth or whatever is hitting something, if it's one of the heads, the tail, the wing, whatever, but as it is flying, when it comes down upon the back, you see where the mountain is or whatever that shadow part is, it hits that part, and that part raises, like, you know, when you hit dirt and it raises. So I want y'all to let me know in the comments after y'all watching this video if y'all believe that this video is real, because I believe in those things. I believe in all of those things that they say are mythical, because you can't believe nothing that has been taught to us. We have to relearn everything. And if you really want to know the truth about things, find out about it. Anyway, roll the clip. Y'all see how it's flying around? It looked like it's learning how to fly. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all believe this is real. Because you see how whatever that is, it hit all of the dirt, lifted up. Can you do that with AI? Y'all let me know in the comments if you could do that with AI. But there's no denying all of the things that we're seeing right now. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Don't forget to like and follow for more. Peace. Wow. It's wild.
I'm gonna let her know right now. That's cap. Ain't nothing real about that. I mean, they could have did a better job with the AI, but yeah, that's cap. I mean, if you don't think so, let me know in the comments why.
When I was 15 years old, I got exposed to an organization called the Brotherhood. And this group took me in and taught me how to use the law of attraction. They told me that I could have, be, or do anything I wanted. Einstein, pretty smart guy. Right. Thomas Edison, obviously one of the greatest inventors of all time. They both said at the turn of the century that the human brain is virtually a transmitter and receiver of frequency. They said that, not me. Medical science poo-pooed this for years. Your brain emits frequency. The key is, how do you train it so that it emits the correct frequency of what you want? The secret and the law of attraction doesn't tell you that missing secret ingredient. It's the missing key. It's the element that makes this work. And so what I teach is I'll teach you what I learned from the Brotherhood. And quite frankly, these are the same techniques that members of Skull and Bones have learned from Yale University, the Bilderberg Group. Some people may be familiar with some of these organizations. When you get to the highest level in Freemasonry, 33rd degree level in Freemasonry, these are secrets of these various associations and societies on how to, we call it manipulating energy, to really just how to beam the frequency of your brain of what you want so that it will come.
Our thoughts create our reality. That's been confirmed by the CIA. So if you haven't figured it out just yet, man, do your homework.
Pyramid Lake, California, USA.
Okay everybody, today I'm going to be showing you what a ball would look like in a fourth spatial dimension, a 4D ball. So I'm going to be showing you what a sphere would look like if there were a fourth spatial dimension. And then what would it look like if there was some 4D being that was going to move that sphere through the fourth dimension? What would it look like in our 3D space?
So we live in a universe that has 3 spatial dimensions. That means you can go this way, you can go this way, and you can go up and down. So a sphere would now look like a circle. So the first thing I want you to notice about this 2-dimensional circle is that for me in 3 dimensions, looking at this 2-dimensional plane, I can see the entire circle at one time. I see everything. The inside of it, the outside of it, everything, all at once.
Have you seen that whole picture of who runs it? Because you were right about the 444. Because the second pedestal in the hierarchy is Diddy, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. But there's another guy that that's how you know I'm in the rabbit hole. Yeah. Because there's the one guy who puppets Beyonce.
He's like the owner.
The owner. Like, there's some white guy that Michael Jackson shouted out in an interview. And he said something about oh, he wants everyone dead or something like that. Hold on. Let me try and see if I can find it. Oh, here. It's Tommy Mottola. And Michael Jackson went on an interview and said he's a demon. What the fuck?
And Tommy Mottola is a devil.
Yeah.
And he's like the manager?
Yeah,
what is he?
So look, Tommy is at the forefront.
Yeah.
Then it goes Diddy, Jay-Z, then it goes Mariah Carey, Beyonce, then your usual rappers, Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, like the main ones. But the top guy, when we're talking about fast food, how there's only 2 running, he's the
Hey, tell me why it looked like they actually enjoyed that hot sauce. It looked like they were having a good time, right?
This is Madonna from 1983 to 2024. Look at the evolution of her and her face. This is probably one of the most interesting transformations of anyone that I've seen in recent history. And stay tuned for the end of this, because how she changes in the last couple of years is very interesting. And I want you guys to think about it and think about if she's potentially using some kind of new age therapy, maybe telomeres. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but if they have enough money, these people are going to start using reverse aging technologies. As you can see here, aging, starting to look pretty old. You know, as she's getting older, as you can see, she's 66. I don't know what's happening here. Look, suddenly, boom. What is this? Madonna, what happened there? What the heck? What is that? And then all of a sudden here, right? Interesting for someone 66. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think when you are worth $200, $300 million, I'm pretty sure you can go from old to young, from ugly to beautiful. You know, money does a lot for you. I'll tell you that much.
Why are there paintings of dinosaurs on cave walls?
Because they saw the bones?
They saw bones of dinosaurs, you think? And they were able to draw what the actual body looked like?
Oh.
So there's the conspiracy. It goes a couple different ways, right?
Ooh, Chris is Googling.
Either dinosaurs never existed, because every dinosaur name was invented by two guys in like a New York apartment in like, I believe it was the 1850s. So it's a very weird timeline of how they were found out about and all this stuff.
Okay.
The other theory is dinosaurs didn't go extinct 65 million years ago, and it was actually much more recent. And that's why it's interesting that in like Acámbaro, Mexico, they have little figurines of dinosaurs from around 2,000 years ago. Because how would people only 2,000 years ago know about things that were supposedly extinct 65 million years ago?
I'm aware of no evidence of aliens whatsoever, which means that I think we're probably alone. And if you look at the history of Earth, the universe is about 13.8 billion years old. Earth is about 4.5 billion years old. All of human civilization is basically the blink of an eye. Consciousness is incredibly rare and perhaps fleeting. It may not last for very long, because otherwise I think we would have seen some kind of sign of aliens. So that's why I think that there's a high urgency to making life multiplanetary, because this is the first time in Earth's 4.5 billion year history that it's been possible to extend life or consciousness beyond Earth. And we've got to do that while civilization is still strong. We need enough people and enough tonnage on Mars such that Mars can survive and continue consciousness even if something would happen to Earth. I'm not talking about abandoning Earth, but there are certain things that may be outside of our control. Obviously, we want to preserve the tiny light of consciousness on Earth, but extend it to Mars and then ultimately to the rest of the solar system. So we want to get Mars to be a self-sustaining civilization as quickly as possible. And I think this can be done in around 20 years.
Now, if he's able to accomplish that, and he's taking people from Earth to Mars, and there is an outer space, and all the schematics, he figures it all out, that'll be some mind-blowing stuff. Because right now, there's a lot of doubters. There's a lot of people that don't have faith in Elon. Let me know what you think about Elon's trip to Mars mission.
Me and Puff met while I was on the radio, you know, when I'm breaking records, spinning records. Met him through a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, and we just became real brothers.
Yeah, I can't tell you about the first time I met him, the real truth. Yeah, I just can't speak on it, you know.
Yeah, some stories gotta be untold.
Yeah.
God is great.
God is great. That we don't have to live that way anymore.
Yeah, we blessed.
He came through.
Yeah.
Make sure you know he came through.
Yeah.
Trunk full.
Yeah.
Trunk was full. Everything was all right.
Humanoid robots are getting creepier by the day. A startup from Poland called Clone Robotics is on a mission to create some of the most human-like robots ever, even going as far as to use a musculoskeletal body using hydraulic tendon muscles covered in this stretchy skin-like fabric. And it's not just for show, because they claim that it is the strongest biomimetic hand in the world. Oh, and just like in the movies, their artificial muscles bleed if punctured. So yeah, things are getting serious now.
how the two Harvard students used Meta's Ray-Ban special glasses and figured out that you could dox people in seconds. When you look up, they literally went around looking at people. So they got something called eye x-ray, eye PIMS. It's an app, right? It's a tool extension of the glasses. So it allows you to put people's face in the frame on the glasses, and it'll instantly pull up addresses, your phone number, your name. It could even pull up where you work and what type of work you've done. And no one's talking about this. Now, I'm a gamer, but I'm not like a super gamer. You know what I'm saying? But this is Watch Dogs in the flesh. And like a few years ago, Black Mirror showed us that this was a possibility. Similar to Star Trek showing you FaceTime was going to happen before it happened. Black Mirror and Watch Dogs have now officially done the same thing.
The fact that these glasses are going to be used to dox people or can be used to dox people, I think that's just the tip of the iceberg. I think that as technology grows and as AI grows and as people are more interested in that third, fourth, fifth dimension, you know what I mean, that these glasses bring, man, it's about to get spooky out here in real life.
Rumor that the whole time when Jamie was out, for the industry insiders, Diddy did that to him.
Okay.
He caught Jamie filming, allegedly, or whatever. They told Jamie to chill. He didn't chill, and allegedly Diddy and security beat Jamie ass. And that's why Jamie was in the hospital, allegedly, right? But then there's the thing where they saying that they gave him some type of pill or something that knocked him out. But it all was alleged connected back to Diddy. Now, more recently, Jamie has a special coming out on Netflix called What Had Really Happened Was, and I went to the taping of it. It was 3 days taping. I went to the first show, I went to the last show.
Okay.
Jamie Foxx states in this, spoiler alert, but Jamie Foxx states in the special that Diddy was responsible for what happened to him, and he is the one that called the FBI on him.
Does the Vatican run the world?
Most people don't digest this. They're the largest single stockholder in the world. They own the most property in the world that pays no taxes. There's an organization a lot deeper than them called the Solidarity. It's a 2,000-year-old club, and it's in the catacombs of the Vatican. People don't know what I'm telling you.
So they meet down there, you're saying?
That's where they are. They only meet there, period. They're very high-level profile people throughout the world. You get invited to be in it. Who's running the world? I think they are.
What were they after? Well, first of all, he told me over and over and over. When he first told me, LaToya, they're going to kill me. I said, who, Michael? First, I thought you're Michael Jackson. Nobody in their right mind would ever think of doing anything like this to you. That's what you think. He says, no, but you don't understand. And then I saw how serious he was. He said, it's bigger than what you think. I said, well, Michael, what is it? He said, it's my publishing. They're after my publishing. They want to take it. As you guys know, my brother had one of the largest catalogs in the world, meaning music-wise.
The Beatles collection was one of them.
He owned the Beatles, yes. Yeah. There's an elevator music that you hear, just everything. Basically, a piece.
And you know who it was. Can you say who it was?
No, I cannot say, because there were other people in the house as well. Because I prefer not to at the moment, but I will say this. I would love to have a one-on-one with several people. One person I would love to have. Safe? I would love to have a one-on-one with probably. I mean, I don't know if you say that because you think that you could instinct.
That cover is actually my face after being told that I have 10 minutes to live, and that's for real. A fake missile alert in Hawaii.
Yes.
I was there.
No.
I was writing. My assistant Linda called me. She was crying. She said, we have 10 minutes left. Tried to get off the island to my daughter. I couldn't get off the island. The question was posed, should we all try to get together? I said, I don't want to die in my car. And we had to say goodbye. And I sat on the lanai and looked out at the ocean. And at that point, I started going, okay, well, what can I do with this last moment of time? And I just decided to go through a list of gratitudes. And honest to God, I could not stop thinking of wonderful things that have happened to me and blessings that I've had. So it was lovely. It was lovely. And I got to a point of grace. But about 2 minutes to spare when I found out it wasn't actually happening. And all I was planning to do was close my eyes and be thankful, because it's been a good ride. Close my eyes and be thankful, because it's been a good ride.
Scientists might have just created consciousness by growing brains in a jar and connecting them to a computer made from stem cells that were stimulated in a special way to form neural tissue, which grew and eventually formed structures and even brainwave activity similar to that of a premature human baby. They then hooked up this brain into a computer, connecting it into a virtual world where it learned to play Pong completely from scratch. I want you to realize what this means. Like, this isn't a computer bot that was pre-programmed to know exactly how to play the game. That's easy. It's an organic brain that they grew themselves that was given Pong with no instructions, and it just taught itself how to play, which is honestly nothing new. That's just AI, but this is organic AI, which happens to learn quicker and is also more energy efficient than traditional AI. It learned to play Pong in about 10 to 15 rallies, when a regular computer AI would take around 5,000. Albeit the computer AI can simulate those 5,000 rallies much quicker, but that takes a lot more computing power, which is sorta our main bottleneck with AI at the moment. Energy. This is organoid intelligence. Take human brain cells, grow them in a petri dish, and then use computers to train them just like AI. Naturally, there are ethical concerns rising as there is surmounting evidence showing us that these are conscious, like a human. Even the scientists working on it themselves admit these organoids are sentient. They took it a step further and tested out these organoid brains inside real physical robots, feeding them the sensory input of everything the robot experiences. And since the computer chip running it is organic brain matter, this technically by definition is a cyborg. Then there are companies like Final Spark that let you rent server space on these organoid brains, which essentially act like organic CPUs. You can even see live streams of the brain computers you're renting out. And now this next part right here, what they're doing here might actually prove simulation theory. So they have this virtual butterfly simulation that's controlled by the organoid brains, meaning the brains feel and experience everything the butterflies do. Again, the brains weren't trained or programmed how to be a butterfly. Just like they did with Pong, they were just fed the sensory feelings of being butterflies and kind of figured out themselves how to flap their wings and just exist. Much the same way you weren't pre-programmed to walk or talk. You experienced sensory inputs in the forms of sight, sounds, touch, and learned, taught yourself along the way. This is an organic brain being fed computer data to make it believe it actually exists in a simulated world, and it's also likely sentient. This company essentially just created the Matrix for butterflies, and its consciousness is available for you to rent out. And when no one's using it, it still just continues to exist with no human interaction whatsoever. If the brains really are conscious, as the scientists suggest, they're not gonna know they're this organoid computer brain in a lab hooked up to a virtual simulation. They're gonna believe that they really are that butterfly. If that's the case, what's stopping all of us from being our own organoid brains in some lab in a different dimension? Meaning this, everything we see and experience right now is our own simulation that we've been plugged into, except we're not butterflies, we're humans. And everything we do, every decision we make is not by our own free will, but by some, I don't know, fifth dimensional entity renting server space in our brains, just the same way this Final Spark neural platform lets us do. And when we sleep, maybe our idle brain computational power is used for other purposes, which we experience as dreams. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. You gotta sleep tonight. Are we really brain organoids, existing in our own petri dishes, connected to and experiencing a fully virtual simulated world? Because we just pulled it off. And according to simulation theory, if we're capable of creating virtual simulated realities, then chances are we're already living in one.
I mean, it sounds like a good theory, and it definitely does give us some insight on what it would be like to live inside a simulation. I still think it's better off to treat people right. You'll be treated right. Karma. You know, a lot of these laws that, you know, cause and effect, all these things that are still pretty real. But something to marinate on nonetheless. Well, you guys, hey, that's another one in the books, man. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button for me. Smash that subscribe button. Join the iTrack fam, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.